This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at South Paraná. This map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is currently available for PC only. Now this is a Brazilian map. We've had, I think, one other, maybe two other Brazilian maps come out in the mod hub. So these are kind of a unique map area to be exposed to Farm Sim 19 players. And I will say that while this map is not seasons prepared, you can still play this map with seasons should you so wish. But the default geo that is built into seasons is going to be completely wrong for this area. And to that extent, I did look in the Giants mod hub. There is a Brazilian geo. So if you're going to play this map with seasons, definitely get that Brazilian geo. So you've got the right planting schedule, you've got the right weather, temps, and everything. But there's a caveat there. This map has additional crops. So the geo is going to be a little weird with those additional crops because typically it duplicates barley for those additional crops if they are not already defined in the map. Now let's read a little bit of the description. It says the map is based on the state of Paraná in southern Brazil. Welcome to the first of the Agro Farm Brazil team. The map was created with great care and detail on the Paraná region. Hope you like. This map includes additional crops. As I said, we have black beans. Then we have millet, rye, sorghum, rice, and what Google Translate just says, can't even pronounce it. Here.
Brachiaria.
Brachiaria. There you go. I mean, if I hear it, I can say it, but if I read it, I have no idea how to say it. So I'm not really sure what that is. Just saying. The map has one grain sell point, sale of bales, wool, cotton, milk, and eggs in silage at the fair. There is a sugarcane plant on the map, and there's an area for a BGA, but there's no BGA present. It's basically there as a placeable area for you to build out your own biogas plant should you so wish. Now, let's go ahead and jump on into the map and take a look around. Go ahead and activate the mods that we typically take a look at when we do our map videos. They're a little out of order. Things out of order. Now, this map also does not have a custom soil map, so we will be using the generic soil map if we are playing this map with precision farming. And here we are. So this is the crew start point for the map. This is kind of the main start farm. There isn't a sleep trigger on the map, so that's not that big of a deal because we can just put our own sleep trigger in. Take a look at the map itself. And there we go, guys. I mean, this is a big field map. We've got a total of 9 fields on this map. Take a look at the lands area. You'll see we start out with field 1. That is the only field that we own at the very start. We don't even own the kind of starting farm area here that is tied to field 2. $1.4 million. Field number 2. Land is expensive down here. So we got $963,000. $1 million for field 5. $1.8 million for field 3. Field 6 comes in at 1.48. Field 7, 1.87 million. Field 8, 1.27 million. Field 9, $1.1 million. The buildable biogas plant area is $121,000. There is a dairy farm here, $111,000. And then what I typically call the unbuyable areas can be purchased for $6.7 million. Wowzer. Land is not cheap down here in the Paraná region of Brazil, that's for sure. So let's take a look here. We've got all of our standard crops available to us here on Farm Sim 19. as well as what is it again?
Brachiaria.
Brachiaria. There we go. We've got that crop, which kind of looks like grass. Not sure what that is. We've got arrows. So I think that's rice. Then we have sorghum, black beans, millet, and what was the other one? Rye. So I'm going to go with rye there. Go ahead and take a look at the soil map. And we do just have the generic soil map here, so you can see how that kind of works around the whole map. Bit of silty clay up here in 6, 7, and 8, as well as down here in 1, 3, and 2, and 4. But then we've got a fair bit of loam up here in 9, and a decent amount of loam in 3, and 5, and 2. To start with a little bit of starting equipment, not a whole lot, given the size of these fields and everything. I would say this is some pretty small equipment for most farm sim players with respect to the field sizes. Let's go back and take a look at field sizes again. So field 1 is 13 hectares in size. Field 7, 48 hectares in size. Field 3, 55 hectares in size. So there you go. These are some big boys. You have the cow pen. We don't own it at the start, and also there are no animals available. And we do have contracts. So yeah, you're going to be making a boatload of money off of these contracts should you desire to take them. $38,000 for field 8, $46,000 for field 2, and $78,800 for field 7. $12,000 to lease this stuff from Mr. Eric Roberts. Now, of course, you're going to get a boatload of extra crop also off of these contracts. Let's go ahead and take a look at that starting equipment. Start out with Stara tractors, the ST Max 105 and the ST Max 180. So our tractors range in horsepower from 105 to 180. We've got the MAN TGS 18.500 4x4 semi-truck. We've got the John Deere T560 harvester, and it is set up to take all the extra crops. We have the Crampy KS950 trailer, the Stara Ninja 19,000 overloader trailer, and then we have the 625X grain header, and you can see it is set up for all of the extra crops. That's the only header you're going to need for all the extra crops. We have the BTC 50H cultivator, the Stara planter or seeder, and then we have a modded large grain silo. That is our starting equipment. Take a look at placeables. We do not have any custom animal pens. So the animal pen, the cow area, is built into the map. It is indeed custom. And we do have the buyable large grain silo available to us. But there isn't anything included in the map with respect to a sleeve trigger. As I said, not that big of a deal. Or biogas plant. Again, not that big of a deal. There are plenty of basically modded biogas plants out there that you can make use of. First thing we're going to take a look at here is our big silo here on the right. Sorry, the left. We have our fill trigger, or fill pipe here on the left. And then we have our dump station here on the right. We've got two large sheds with our equipment to our left and right in front of us. We've got another large building here with a maintenance trigger inside of it. We have our fuel station for the map. And then here we have bulk liquid fill triggers, herbicide, fertilizer, etc. And then we also have bulk fill trigger for seed right here. And that's pretty much the main farm. Let's go ahead and get set up for the fly around, and we'll do a little aerial reconnaissance of the map. Now, let's go back to the PDA image because I want to show you there are these lines through the fields. And I think that has to do with runoff and erosion control. Some of these are very, very pronounced up here in the northern area of the map. We also have some of those exposed here on the southern part of the map. See, there's little subtle ones here in field 4 and 5. Field 2 has them. Field 3 has some of these. But 3 only has them here where we have a bit of a hillside. And again, that's why I think that this really relates to runoff control. And then field 7, and some of these are very pronounced, and they are not individual areas. This is the entire field here. So, but this definitely, you're going to be planting these in segments. You're not going to be planting this straight across. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Get a little bit of altitude there, and you can already see on our right those ridges. Not really pronounced here as compared to how they are in other areas. So this is field 2, field area 2. Now, it did load this map up earlier, and it does look like we have custom ground soil textures. So you can kind of see that through the crop here, and maybe we'll find a field that doesn't have crop that we'll be able to see that in a little greater detail. But I do believe these contour ridges kind of are there to help control runoff during maybe the rainy season and such. Better channel the rain. There's field 1. This is the field that we own at the start. Here's big old field 3. Now, these poles do have collisions, so hired help will be avoiding these. Let's just go ahead and run into one. There you saw we kind of got pushed off to the side. If they didn't have a collision, we'd just be able to fly right through it. Now, there's some nice details on some of these fields. Like here, we've got a little bit of a low spot. See, there's kind of a little bit of a ridge here that has occurred, and water is just kind of sitting here. It's not draining very well. But you see, this area up top is not flat, but it's not ridged like you see over there. This area is not really ridged. As we move this way, I already see the ridges showing up as we kind of fall down the slope. We have these ridges showing up, and again, I think that's for runoff control, erosion control. And then on this field in particular, we have some more standing water here at some of the lower parts of the field by those ridges. So my guess is ultimately you're not going to be harvesting up and over this ridge. Probably would be best if these ridges were maybe planted in grass. And we'll see that is indeed the case on some other fields where these ridges are much more pronounced. Over here we have a bulk lime buy point. Right there. Then here we start for the very well defined ridges. I don't know if this is also could be called terrace farming. Really up the speed on some of these fancy terms. See, that is definitely grassed up, very, very deep contour ridges on these fields over here because this is a bit steeper. We have our farm shop up here on the hill. I do like the distance scenery. We've got the distance way, way off in the distance, and then just some town built out there to give you a sense of greater sense of depth. Got a John Deere dealership there. We have our animal dealer. And then this is the sugarcane factory. Really nice details on this. We've got a water pond and a pipe, obviously, to pull water into the factory. Got a conveyor belt dumping the sugarcane. We have this ramped area into a dump pit and our conveyor belt. Then over here we have the waste. Sugarcane waste, the pulp, is a waste byproduct of the sugarcane sugar extraction product, or product, but process. You have some custom trees on the map like this one here. So we do have some custom crop textures also. And this is the large placeable biogas area that you can, well, you can choose to put a biogas plant here if you want, or do whatever you want with it, really. And we already have the weigh station and weigh house for the biogas plant. There are signage at the road for it to be a biogas plant, but ultimately it's up to the player how they want to work it. Here we have our sole grain sell point. And then we have the cow farm down here, kind of this little valley. And then way off in the distance there, we have our start farm yet again. I'm going to go ahead and loop back around to the shop, and that's where I'll meet you for the next segment of the video. So down here at the good old John Deere dealership, we've got some nice details. We've got some earthen ramps made up here for you to aid in the loading of maybe a flatbed trailer. Dealership, our dealer trigger is inside here at the sales counter. And then let's see, do we have a customize and repair point here at the dealership? See our Mahindra way off in the distance there. You have a fairly large spawn area for equipment, which is a good thing because, well, I suspect players are going to be buying the biggest stuff they can find in order to work these huge fields in South Paraná. As I said during the fly around, we have our animal dealer here. And the trigger should extend through all of these bays. There. You should be able to pull up in any door and do your dealings. We'll make our way up here to the sugarcane factory. Interesting factoid on sugarcane pulp. This is something I learned several years ago when doing some research. Is that you can actually take the sugarcane pulp, there's a dump station, and use it to make paper. So you can make true tree-free paper through the use of processing the sugarcane pulp for the paper. So I used to call that sugar paper. Researched that for work. Some of you may know that I work at a higher education institution, and well, the supposed educated folks, so concerned about the environment, were interested in what they could do to lessen the environment. We looked into it, discovered there's such a thing as sugar paper, but in the end they decided that their pocketbooks needed more conservation than the trees that needed to be cut down for their paper. Here we have the biogas plant. Again, this is a build-outable biogas plant, so we've got our scale built in. Scale is operating, although I gotta wonder. Thing really only 931 kilograms. I don't even know how much kilopounds, whatever it is. So this is a very large area you can use for pretty much anything you want. I mean, heck, if you were so inclined, you could plow this up and make this into a field. Once you bought it, once you own the deed, it's yours. Yours to do whatever you want with it. Then we have the sole rain sell point. Hoping that was a working scale, but it doesn't look like it. We have our dump station. Right here. And then on our way out, we have a second scale so we can truly weigh ourselves full, weigh ourselves empty, and therefore know exactly how much we have put in the dump station. So now we need to try to figure out how to get down to the other side of the map. I believe there's a road right up here, right across from the sugarcane plant. Hopefully. Take a little look, kind of crossed the map here. Definitely some distinct highland areas and lowland areas. I think we're going to be able to go down this way. Yep, this will work. Then we have the dairy farm over there on our left. We're going to take a look at that next. So if I do remember right, there was another South American map that got some pretty good praise from some South American players. It'd be very interesting to hear what folks think of this map with respect to its accurate representation of Brazilian farmland. Take a look here at the traffic. The traffic's moving at a leisurely pace of about 20 miles an hour. That seems to be basically the standard Giants traffic speed. And here we are. See the grain sell point up there on the hill. We have our cow delivery point here at the chute. 200 cattle in this particular pen. We have our food trough. There. We have our milk trigger over here. And that is identified because we have the Lily milk sales. And this machine comes up because we have the animal pen extension mod enabled, which helps us A, find the milk trigger and the water trigger. And 2, this would allow us to basically auto sell milk for a small fee, should we so wish. Have our manure pile. We have our slurry point. And then down the road here, we have our water trough. Now the cow pen does have this bit of a pond here. And I wanted to point out some of this custom, I believe is custom foliage. This thing right here. This is, I guess this is bamboo. Recall seeing this on any type of a map before. Now I will say, if you're inclined and have the dev console enabled, don't hit F5 when you're looking at that, because that there is loaded with polys, and it will basically kill your machine if you're looking in that direction and you hit F5. Not that I've done that or anything. So here we have the straw trigger for the cows. But you may also, if you find yourself, during your gameplay of this map, if you find that when you look in that general direction, your frames start to suffer, that might also be why. That particular grove of bamboo. We head up the road this direction. We're going to come across a fuel station. I mean, if this is 80 kilometers an hour, come on, traffic. Pick it up. Pick it up. See field 3 with those ridges again for water pooling. And we have our Brazilian fuel station. Continuing on the road, we should have our lime buy point. tucked away in the forest, if you will. Then we have a in scale and an out scale, so we can accurately be weighed. How much lime did we get? Therefore, how much lime do we need to pay for? I wish more sell points and areas would have these dual scales. Scales on the way in, scales on the way out. For that purpose. And here we've got some more of that bamboo. So again, if you find your frames are suffering when you're looking towards things like this, because that is like loaded with polys. Absolutely loaded. Also have this sell point down here by the gas station for our root crops and cotton, as well as eggs, wool, and milk. Double back and see that real fast. That is, it's like a little roadside. A little roadside market. So someone had mentioned in a live stream wanting to farm watermelon. Crop I don't think we've really seen in Farm Sim, any Farm Sim. A little bit like Frodo. We got one more thing to take a look at, and I believe it is a big water trigger. And this should be how we are getting from the main farm down to here. Very interesting map. Very interesting setup. Completely different take as opposed to Estancia La Pacha. Giants. South American map. Up a little bit. Got some more standing water down there in that field. And then, yeah, here we have, whoa, here we have our water trigger. Buy our water. Or obtain water. Did we need it? So guys, that is it. That is South Paraná. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the map? What do you think of the idea of more Brazilian maps? More Brazilian farming equipment. We've seen a fair bit of that starting to show up. Perfect for a map like this. So until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.